that's probably all they expect, because SK Telecom are definitely razor-trained on getting right up there to the top of the standings.
Here we go into the draft here. SKT over on the blue side, and not that surprising. You already talked about how many shields can we stack on the Songyun. Goes hand in hand with the Kog'Maw, and that's going to be taken off the table.
I wonder if they'll have to blue side ban Kalista, because that's the other big Songyun champion. If you remember, during summer season, we had a look at solo queue win rates, and Songyun with 70 games of Kalista had over an 80% win rate in high challenger in Korea. So that lets you know Songyun certainly has to be feared on multiple champions, but Bang also a famous Kalista, so we'll see if Kalista does hit the ban list. Remember, Kog'Maw, Kalista, and the Ezreal with the big 80 carry bans all throughout the Season 8 patch we've seen so far as 3 matches, of course, but definitely early in our first series as well.
Vladimir banned away by the ROX Tigers, probably much to the distaste of Kuzan, and a very early ban on this Zoe.
I see you being a little incredulous, of course, because we've seen very low Zoe priority so far in our first 3 sets in the LCK. But if you watch Faker's stream, and we all do, let's be real, this guy has been pulling off some highlight plays on Zoe, so no interest in leaving that up for Faker.
High damage burst mage, high mechanical ability. Yeah, let's take that out of the hands of Faker.
You know what's pretty good against the hyper carry? Being one-shot. So that's the thing there. So I think Songyun's probably calling for that one, be like, nope, I'm sorry. I know you want to play the Sandra against Zoe, Kuzan. I get it, but no. Taken away from him in Szechuan. He's still permabanned so far in LCK.
Going to be taken off the board, but Kalista, is this going to be the final ban here?
I mean, Ezreal will be the first pick then if you have to.
I mean, given that,
I think you leave it up. I think you ban Tom Kenshaw.
They don't ban either of them.
That's the right choice. That's what I think. I think you ban Tom Kenshaw, Gangplank, as the final ban, because now you can take Kalista, Tom Kench if you want it, or Kalista Braum, depending on what you're expecting. Kalista Braum, of course, the Braum does very well against the Ezreal ultimate, and Ornn if it was to come out, but you have to think Kalista's coming here for Songyun. Famous pick for him and a good spot.
It'd be so surprising to not see that happen. The Azir right now being hovered very early on for Kuzan if they want to take that away. Obviously, getting it out of the hands of Faker is something important, but still going to be quite early to have that mid lane locked down for the ROX Tigers, but they do commit to it.
And the reason why you want to take Azir here is Faker certainly would have taken it himself, and if you follow Faker's kind of counter-pick school of thought, Kassadin is his big pick against Azir, and Faker on Kassadin with limited wave clear is usually something that you would applaud, right? It gives you some lane control around mid lane against Faker, which is something very, very unlikely, something you crave. So I love the Azir pick here. We'll see where Faker wants to go. He could consider Malzahar as well, not an ideal matchup, but Malzahar has kind of been this awkward champion for Faker. Playing it in Casper Cup didn't work. Playing against it in the World Final against Crown's Malzahar didn't work either.
No, it did not. But Ornn going to be picked up here, something that we haven't really seen today. So we'll be locked in by the ROX Tigers. Gnar to answer for Untara in the top lane. And now Faker, let's see, where does he want to go? Flashes the Teemo for just a second, but seems like Tom Kench might be the pick up there for effort in that bottom lane.
I think the priority on Ornn is too high here from the ROX Tigers. I mean, that sounds like a crazy thing to say, but we've seen that Korean teams don't value Ornn, even as a first-round pick. Sometimes it's picked in the second round, sometimes it's banned. From what I understand, Korean pros feel like the fact that he gets pushed in by a lot of matchups, the fact that you can take Illaoi and crush him or Gnar and have control, means that he's not as high priority as you would have expected. So they give up Tom Kench. I would have thought Tom Kench would have been first round here, then you could take the Kalista at this point, and I think Ornn might still have been there in the second round, but you're never 100% sure priorities on the first week of the patch when these teams haven't played a professional game yet. So nice first round draft for both teams, even if the Ornn may prove to be a reach. Look at the bans here. SKT going to be looking for a mid laner to deal with Azir, but also going to be looking for their jungler as well.
Oh, we'll see the Veigar banned away. Taking that one off the board is the ROX Tigers.
Effort's LCK debut will be on the Tom Kench. If you looked at him in Casper Cup, was largely on the poke champions. Known for Blitzcrank, but also mostly a lot of these ranged mages. So Tom Kench duty. It's Wolf's signature pick, you'd have to say. So Wolf not being on the Tom Kench is a bit of a feels bad man moment.
I'm ready for the Master Yi mid.
You ready for it?
Oh, yeah.
Some dunk mastering.
I want to see the return. But, yeah, Janna banned away here by SK Telecom. Not allowing that one to be there. And it's going to be Vel'Koz also banned out. Faker with a bit of a wry smile there at the side of that.
That's the Crown special. Crown has been trying. It's the matchup that always existed, even in 2015. people were saying, all right, the other pick against Azir doesn't have to be the Xerath, it can be the Vel'Koz. Vel'Koz banned out that kind of pocket pick against Azir. Now, Xerath could still be locked in here. It's kind of actually been a champion that Faker hasn't found a lot of success on, or it could just be Malzahar. There's a lot of options, or the Kassadin if they're willing to go all in. Kalista Thresh is smart because you take in Kalista Thresh, one of the strongest possible duo lanes, and you say, hey, if you're going Kassadin, you're going to have struggles in mid and bot lane, so two winning lanes is a smart choice here by ROX.
Take that one away. The Shen ban coming through there just to deny that support option. Don't want to throw him in and have the Shadow Dash come through. But it's going to be the Malzahar yet again. Second time today, as Faker will just go ahead and pick that one up, and maybe the J4 for the first time today here out of the jungle for Blank.
Jarvan hasn't been as big a pick. Yesterday it was big. We saw Ambition full tank Jarvan, and also the DPS Jarvan. That's largely been more popular. Played quite a lot, whereas Jarvan has eluded us so far today.
Saw it a bit in the LPL as well. Karsa picking that one up.
Waiting for the last pick here for the ROX Tigers. We're thinking it's going to be looking in for the jungler. Been a lot of the Zac. You remember that it was actually the ROX Tigers, the famous everyone gets knocked up comp with Zac, when Zac was permaban last year. It's going to be the choice. Risky choice. SK Telecom in previous patches have been able to attack junglers like Zac and rotate multiple people through the enemy jungle and prey upon an enemy jungle. And I feel like Blank's job here is going to battle ward his way and try to shut down Mighty Bear.
I mean, you talk about one of the Zac masters that we have here in the LCK with Blank.
The man with the world
skin.
Picking
it into him. Yeah, it's got the world skin ready to go for it. So if anyone understands how you have to play Zac, what the pathing is going to be, and be able to predict that, find out where Mighty Bear is at any given time, Blank is that person. So this is a bold choice from the side of the ROX Tigers to go ahead and pick that straight up in Blank's face.
Malzahar, like we said, a bit of a bogey champion for Faker because of Crown and also struggles on it in Kesper Cup. Doesn't have a winning record all time like most of his champions, but we get to see the new starters for SKT. Untara and Blank are expected to play most games. We're in a good spot against their opponents today. Linderung and Mighty Bear might be the weakest top lane jungle duo we have in Korea. Faker vs. Kuzan. It's been a long time match. It's going to be a really fun one to track.
Yeah.
Songyun got his Kalista, so he's probably going to think the draft went pretty well.
Yeah, I mean, speaking of, Songyun and Kuzan, in his interview, Songyun had a few choice words about Kuzan, obviously playfully, as he is a bit of a jokester, but saying that, Kuzan's trash. We already had one noob on the team. Now we have two of them.
Well, he's going to hope he's not a noob against Faker, because that could be real bad.
Yeah, that'd be a really terrible time to have those noobish tendencies come out. We'll see how Kuzan is going to make out here on his debut on the ROX Tigers. SKT with effort in the bot lane. Let's see how they go ahead and square off against ROX as we kick off game one. If anyone can tell me what that song is, it's based on that tiny sampling, I would love to know.
I'm sure you could get your Shazams on and try to work it out. I imagine that's going to be the eventual intro, even though we have a nice filler intro right now with the history of some of the great finals. There will be a proper player intro in a couple of weeks. Both OGN and those at the Gangnam Stadium do roll out the intro a little bit later because the filming day is less than a week before the start of LCK, so doing all the editing takes time.
A lot of love and care that goes into those videos, so.
Kuzan's using SKT, Easy Hoon, Azir. Great. I just love the fact that there's so many SKT skins that you can half the time troll pretty hard. Mighty Bear did not go to that particular well.
That one's especially BM, though, going for the Easy Hoon. That's pretty good. Of course, fans out here showing their support for SKT. And Faker in particular, as you might expect.
Faker's going for a pick build. Going to be rushing into the Twin Shadows, is starting level 1 with the Frost Queen's claim. Late invade coming through from SKT. Any information they get on the Zac pathing, even if it's not, a first blood or anything like that, is still going to be so important for what we expect to be a team-wide effort to stop the Zac ever being an impact. Given that we've seen a lot of great Zac play just in 2 days of competition so far, maybe we can see a masterclass of playing against Zac by SKT.
Not the largest leash there for Mighty Bear, but looks like he's going to be fine working his way through the jungle. Everybody's going to go down into that bottom lane. Blank likely going to be spotted. Now, actually, Kuzan's still pushing forward. Here he comes. He does have that level 2 available with a red buff. Can he get that slow up? But seems like he just can't quite get in range, so not even going to be able to force the flash yet.
Yeah, Blank was happy to just walk to his Raptors, and if he saw Zac, that would have given him more information on where he was on the map, but not able to draw Zac out of the jungle. Return to a bit of normalcy here as this SKT is here. It's great. Going to be able to push up early. Malzahar is kind of existing on fumes in the early game against Azir. It's no fun.
Excited to see how this Ezreal pick is going to come out. I mean, because this is major comfort for both sides. Kalista for Songyun, the Ezreal for Bang. I mean, it got to a point, you know, where he said it's not even fun for me to play Ezreal anymore. But now, with the Runes Reforged, perhaps that has changed.
It's being a bit of an EO with a comment like that, because Ezreal's just so much fun to play.
It really is. That's basically why I one-trick him. Also, I'm garbage at everything else.
Well, there is. As Mighty Bear's top side, you don't often see the level 3 gank, but he's going for it.
He's already transformed. Will get snatched up. Pulled back a little bit, but no real way to capitalize onto that one, so just going to be the flash down there on the Gnar.
You notice that Linderong is using Unsealed Spellbook, so he's going for the Ignite. That's been the common pick. Against Gnar especially, you're not going to be getting those Grasp of the Undying procs, so the Grasp in the melee matchup, the Ignite and Unsealed Spellbook for teleport plays, but also chance of an all-in randomly early with the Ignite. So good gank timing, and they do get the flash, so pretty good result there for Linderong.
Let's look at all of the potions and biscuits in Bang's inventory right now.
How are we doing for Inspiration Tree? We don't have it on Kuzan. I imagine he's gone for Presence of Mind, because he has gone Precision Tree. Presence of Mind has gotten pretty common. It could still be coup de grace, but it feels like Presence of Mind on Talia especially, and Kassan is pretty big, just to guarantee that you can push really hard. If we see some extended trading in mid lane, I'll be able to track whether it's that or not. Plenty of inspiration all over the Rift, though.
Seems to be the flavor of the patch. Here at the moment, Faker using that TP.
And people ask why. And I think it's a good question. You know, I had a lot of questions today when I asked about what people are wondering about, you know, the 2018 meta. You know, why so much of the inspiration tree? Why this rune choice? And I think after the nerf to Summoner area and just the everyone optimizing into healing and shielding in the bot lane, I feel like the extra little damage just doesn't give as much payoff as things like free boots, the utility of a stopwatch for a turret dive that works offensively and defensively. It feels like the inspiration tree, which I think should usually be very situational, should usually just represent, you know, in a weird spot, I'll take this. It becomes core. There's not enough damage or tankiness in other trees, whereas the inspiration aggressively and defensively gives you so many options that often has higher value than what the other trees can bring.
We have another visitation up here to the top side. Linderong charging forward, gets the knock up. Antara, he's already used the leap and does not have the flash. Very well could be that first blood coming through. Not going to find the pop up there, but the flash forward from Mighty Bear is closing the gap, and that's going to be first blood going over to Linderong.
Tara taking the role of the lane oppressor isn't one he did. That was usually Huni's role on SKT, so caught out there. Nice gank timing. The Ignite comes a treat. First blood to ROX Tigers. A feel-good moment for the Tigers fans.
A feel-bad moment here for SKT overall. And Tara giving up that first blood, at least has the TP to get back to lane. But now Faker having to back yet again. Doesn't have the Summoner spell this time around. He's just going to have to work his way back very slowly. And he's already pretty considerably behind. 20 CS down under Kuzan at the moment.
I wonder when and if we'll see Thal. I think we'll definitely see him in the first round robin. Was Son of Kasing over in the EU LCS. Saw professional play in, well, I guess you should say second tier play, but his Son of Kasing account, you know, was that big one that everyone was asking about because it ranked up so fast on the solo queue ladder over in Europe. He is a carry top lane player, obviously not with the experience of Huni, but a similar kind of play style and champion pool. And Antara has struggled from time to time. This is his big chance to start. I think he should get an extended run in the team, but I feel like of the substitutes, Effort clearly will get a chance. You know, it's his first game. He's eligible to play in LCK due to age. He's playing it. That's a big vote of confidence for Effort. After that, I think Thal will play some games, kind of like Prophet did in spring season. And then after that, I don't think we'll see a lot of Blossom because he has just no seasoning at the highest level.
Hook does connect there. And on to Bang, but of course, Devour is ready to save, so no extended damage going to go through onto the Ezreal. It'll be all right. Linderong, in the meantime, just getting beefy there in that top lane.
He's just doing
Glacial
Ornn
Shroud's
things.
ready to go.
I had some choice words about Ornn on yesterday's broadcast. Kind of does everything well, so that's why he is ultra powerful. Still surprised that a lot of people looked over him, but in a lane pushing meta, it's one of the few things where he can be outclassed by champions like Gnar.
Blank looking for this gank here onto Kuzan, but doesn't have the Cataclysm, and even if he did, Kuzan could just go ahead and dash his way out to safety. So
even an EQ flash would be R'd away, and then, like you say, just able to use double mobility flash and also the use of his sand soldiers to get away. So seem low percentage at best from the side of Jarvan.
At least he can be there to make sure that Faker isn't really getting aggressed on. Just needs to make sure that the CS deficit isn't growing for himself.
Faker may have Unsealed Spellbook, but doesn't have Ignite. I wonder if they can one rotation. They're going to try.
They're going to go for it. Another grass coming through. They get the pop-up. He's going to go low. A couple more hits, and there you have it. Kuzan not even going to be able to use the flash. The barrier's not enough, and that's first kill, for SKT picked up.
Really good knowledge of their damage thresholds with just a Frost Fang and a jungle item, knowing they had 100-0, trusting in the process. Good synergy between Faker and Blank, who have been playing together for multiple years. It was noted by SKT on Twitter that today is Blank's 3rd anniversary as a pro gamer. You may be wondering, doing the math and be like, wait, joined SKT in 2016, but he played professionally in China in 2015, and that is why it's now 3 years as a pro player.
Yep, longer than you might have thought. Longer than I thought. But he's been around, and he's had some ups and downs, for sure. But overall, Blank remaining a very solid player here for SK Telecom.
In a different role now. I think he will play 99% of games, almost 100% of games. I don't really expect to see Blossom at all. So, as a true starter, we knew and respected how good he was adapting. I'll hold the point.
Looking for that pick there onto Effort. We'll go ahead and force that flash as he jumps over into the red pit to keep himself safe.
Just a different proposition, not being able to watch the game, see the enemy pathing and adjust. That was where Blank was strongest. Had some games as a starter, but it definitely was far from the norm. So, a bit of an unfamiliar role for Blank. Back into 2016 Blank territory. Watching bot lane. Mighty Bear's here. They know Flash is down for Effort. That's who they're going to go for on the gang.
Slingshot coming through, but that's just going to be the Arcane Shift away there from Bang. Grip not really going to be able to pull Effort back in. So just spending a little bit of time down there, not going to get much for it.
Could have gone for a flash, let's bounce, but probably didn't have the damage on the Kalista to make it work. It's probably smart to just evacuate after that. Definitely it was the Tahm Kench as the target there. This, Faker and Blank, see that the gank was attempted, steal away the blue buff, nice timing, so good to see mid and jungle. So far the synergy been really good for the side of SKT.
Yep, staying proactive. So even though Faker's still in that deficit, they're still making those moves to try to keep them very relevant here. Obviously the Nether Grasp going to be a major component for SKT moving forward, trying to get this victory here in game number 1.
Gold standard here for SKT, respecting the Zac, is to get control wards on both sides of mid lane, get a ward into the Raptor camp especially, and then maybe the ramp towards the Drake on the right side of the map from an SKT perspective, and then we will see Zac be much more mortal. We've seen kind of incredible guaranteed initiation, it felt like, because of very shallow warding against Zac in previous series. Chief culprit, of course, MVP yesterday. I want to see here how you actually trivialize a Zac, which the best teams were able to do quite consistently in 2017.
So far, it's just been more going toe-to-toe with him. Blank now rotating up towards this top side of the map, where Tara, despite that early death, still has been maintaining control. Blank's going to find him now.
Lenderang has, as always the case, a big buy advantage over his opponent. Already has the Iceborne Gauntlet.
Why is that?
Because he never has to leave lane Achilles. Such is the Ornn way. If you're Ornn and you have pushing advantage, oh boy, you have a happy time. Okay, here we go.
Well, it's going to be the play there. The box coming down. Effort going to get hooked back in. Still has the great health. We'll go ahead and pop the shield with a less bounce. Drags him in, and he goes low. The Ren not going to be enough to finish him off. Can they get him? One more hit would do it, but Faker stopping up Mighty Bear with that Nethergrass. Might have just bought them enough time. Songyun doesn't quite have the Ren off cooldown. It seems like both Faker and Effort will make it out with their lives.
They don't actually pick up the kill on Effort. They weren't confident to flash forward, respecting Malzahar coming through on the teleport. Kuzan pushes in a lane, starts to walk around. Malzahar's not here, but he might start it anyway.
And yeah, Kuzan just goes for a ride.
So they're going to clear some vision, push in a lane. for the cost of teleport. If you're going to make a defensive teleport play, that's about the least you pay for it here for the side of SKT. So they relieve the pressure for effort. No one dies. They don't lose a turret or even turret HP. So that was a very good roam timing from Faker.
Yeah. Multiple summoner spells down there for ROX, so this pressure alleviated. Tara now going aggressive here against Linderong. The ultimate coming through. He's going to get popped up. Almost has that mega transformation coming down, and Linderong's just going to have to go ahead and limp his way on out of there.
And a lot of lane control now because the Black Cleaver has been completed. Now you really do start to feel the all-ins. And speaking of all-ins, and Tara thought about a flash ult, but wasn't going to happen.
He's really thinking about it, getting a little saucy there. Doesn't go for it in the end, and now Blank hovering just over the wall, maybe looking
We've
for
seen this
Cruzon.
before.
Flash is still available. Here we go. Another grass coming down. Try to cleanse that one off. The pop-up still comes through. Cruzon uses the Emperor's Divide, and now that Abyssal Voyage, the rest of SKT looking to pick up that kill. Two-shot barrage just now becoming available. Bang walking over on the side, throws it out, but yep, it's going to be a bit too telegraphed. Cruzon able to sidestep that one, but now this opens up for some damage here onto this mid-tier 1 turret.
Super intelligent by SKT because they feel like they can take the turret even though they don't get the kill. Turret gets low. They've got little Voidlings, got all sorts of things to tank the turret.
Oh, almost got the pop there onto Mighty Bear. They get a lot of damage, but they aren't able to finish it off there for the first brick. But still, SKT pushing, becoming aggressive, looking to be proactive. And it's working out quite well for them.
Really cool shot call from SKT because they understood that they probably saw the QSS and said, it doesn't matter. We still have a decent chance of killing the Azir. And even if we don't, we're going to get most of mid lane turret HP. So they got a lot there despite rotating full. And it feels like every time they make the map movement, it's been crisp from the side of SKT.
Yeah. So nearly 2 towers taken out here at the moment. This effort feels bad, but does get interrupted there by Songyun. But mid and top, both very, very weak. Even bottom lane getting chipped away here as the Waves just had a free push in. ROX are going to try to answer that one.
Well, answering turret damage at least.
Yeah, getting quite a bit here, but Faker and Blank coming back around the side. The grasp is available, or is almost available. Hard to really tell.
Small monitors can work against us, but no flash, so wasn't realistically going to be going for anything there.
Where's my 32-inch display monitor for this?
It's not here, Achilles. It's at home. It's at your house.
That's true. Even then, it's only a 27.
That's bad.
It's enough. It gets the job done.
Fair enough. They're returning to mid lane, and now it's ROX Tigers, actually, with the team-wide push. Even Ornn dipped in for a little bit of a help, and first brick, surprisingly, kind of against the run of play, and go to the ROX Tigers.
Yeah, Faker just trying to clear out the minions, but no way to do it fast enough, so with that extra gold going through, ROX going to swing themselves back into a very, very slight lead. I mean, we're only separated by about 150, 200 gold between these two squads.
The plays from SKT have been flashier, but you can't deny that the impact right there was big for the side of ROX Tigers, actually taking down Malzahar's turret. Suddenly there's more space for Azir to push and not be in. Nether cross range, barring a max range flash ultimate. He has to QSS anyway. Decrease gold. The moment that Bang kind of was held accountable to go back to lane, no Iceborne Gauntlet, he was always going to be slow to push, and that was the time to be like, okay, if we know Bang is on bot side of the map going to bot lane, there's no way they can outplay a rotation mid lane. So very nice rotation from the ROX Tigers. And compared to, say, MVP, who macro-wise looked really outclassed against Kongnu Monster, another team that we do expect to be down the bottom of the table, so far, have been pretty rock solid.
I thought you were going to make a really bad pun there, and I'm glad that you didn't.
I try to have, you know, a bit of pause at times. But sometimes you just let it out and you talk about cataclysmic engages and you're like, wait, that's not the adjective I wanted. A for effort is also going to be a big one.
And it is, but that's going to be open thrown out there by Songyun, trying to focus down here onto efforts. Got the shield ready to pop, will do so, but the spears are just stacking up for the Rend. Songyun waiting on it, there you go, pops it, gets the kill in the end. Let's bounce, not going to be finding much for Mighty Bear, but they at least got the kill. They got the target they were looking for. That's 2-1 now in favor of the ROX Tigers.
They also realized that Faker changed to Ghost much earlier on the Malzahar with the unsealed spellbook, so no ability to counter teleport, which stopped the kill on Effort earlier in the game. So Effort has been pretty well trained down. Lost his flash early, had to be teleported down from his mid lane and not to die, and then died again. Effort is 1-2 on SKT. Died twice. Sorry, lost twice, I should say, in the Casper Cup. So it's difficult to enter as a very young player into the top level of play here in Korea.
I mean, especially on the team that has the most eyes on them out of any team around the world.
I mean, you just look at viewership numbers, and SK
So much
Telecom,
pressure.
win, lose, and draw will always go up. This particular stadium, full, absolutely tip-top, even though it is SKT versus ROX, not one of the big clashes that SKT will face. It's Telecom War next week, Gilios.
That it is. It'll be a great way to kick off the week here at OGN.
Top lane has gone kind of as expected. 30 CS down is actually worse than expected for Linderung, even in a good matchup for the Gnar. Usually, with Linderung, you just kind of use your ult to wave clear like you're a Rumble or something like that and just try to stay a bit more competitive. I would have thought 20 CS down, but I feel like 30 this early in the game is actually more than expected for the Orange.
Kuzan keep that turn alive as long as he possibly can. Haven't seen anyone pay attention to the Drake yet. And again, going to be very slow to have these picked up as it's a mountain start. But 18 minutes in is still a bit surprising. See no priority put there, especially with the Kalista ready to go.
I mean, Zac, though. Like, Zac is kind of the anti-force towards the positive Drake force of Kalista because he doesn't really offer anything if he's using any of his abilities to start the Drake, and he certainly doesn't do it very fast. But they've got the push now. Control ward is down. Baker's gonna... and Blank showing themselves.
Working their way over here down to 2,000 HP. Still stuck to this one song. Yuka's now getting some spears in, but won't even need the Ren to take it away. SKT do not want a hard commit, so Mountain Drake going to be going over to ROX. Now it's getting the face call drawn out yet again.
Still
He's
no
looking
flash.
to focus down effort. We able to pop a shield, but the box is there. Blank trying to find his way in, but the Let's Bounce just drags him even further away, and they are just bullying the young member of SKT.
And it's just ideal kill distribution as well. It's all going to the Kalista, accelerating the 2-item core that Kalista's so well known for. Probably going to be the Hurricane next. Could be the Phantom Dancer once it goes super defensive, but I think it's Hurricane time in this particular game. Top lane, I was watching on the minimap, Orin trying to stop the Gnar dirty farming behind the turret, try to at least keep him competitive. Untara was already just about to run out of Mega Gnar when the fight started, or when they started to walk around the Drake, so no real way he was going to actually commit to a teleport.
Baker just stopping the back timing there. Tara's trying to push in here onto Linderung, still rather healthy. Blink waiting in the wings, gets the knock up there off the Searing Charge.
Start diving in Ornn is always a insane proposition.
I would not mess with that.
In fact, Ornn and Alawi, despite being very different champions, are both kind of equally turret diveable. But the turret's falling low, so even if you can just walk up and put down a flag and help the Gnar auto-attack it down, that'll be just fine.
I mean, it's even worse when there's a stopwatch in the mix.
I believe Wolf is at the stadium, so will be an option for game 2, you'd have to think. The moment the Effort's first flash went down, it's more credit ROX Tigers for just playing around summoner spell cooldowns pretty ideally on the bot side of the map. This will lead to turret going down. Took 20 minutes, but the Gnar positive matchup into his matchup here against Ornn does pay some dividends.
Finally got it, but at the same time, you know, yet again, ROX just getting so much damage in onto this bottom turret.
Look at those items. Don't want to fight against that if you're Ezreal. You're like, nope, I'm good.
No, not at all, especially when you have to go for the Iceborne Gauntlet. Without the Trinity Force, your trading damage potential is just not really there. The Kalista is pretty much going to win that one every time, especially with something like a Thresh there to back her up.
I'd like to see the gold numbers and see if Faker has a gold lead. He has a kill, but also the GP10 is... Wow, okay. I didn't know how that interaction went, but now we know.
Now we know.
So the Let's Bounce was overridden by the Flag and Drag.
All right, today I learned.
Feels good, man, if you're a Jarvan player.
A new little trick.
So 1 item complete for Azir with the safety of QSS, 2 items for Kalista. They'd love something to fight for, ROX, and maybe just 2v2 is enough to fight for.
See the autos coming through. Yeah, just chunking out Bang there. Even without the Rend. So Songyun is in a pretty good spot.
Absolutely. It's one of those things where they're happy that Drake hasn't spawned, because this is not the time to fight. Whenever we talk about power spikes, I think back to 2015, Rumble hitting his 2 Magic Pen item, conversations at Colorcaster. This is scary, scary time. Such an accelerated Kalista already in the game, but Blank and Faker going for a walk anyway.
Quick little snap there from Mighty Bear. Takes himself out to safety. Blank just get a consolation prize for walking down in that ward.
It does isolate top lane, which is going very well for SKT, and I don't think at any point Faker and Blank were like, definitely, Kalista Thresh, let's get in there and gank them, because we know how that lane goes. Very hard to choose any targets. It's more about getting some river control bot lane and letting the Gnar top lane isolated, knowing 4 members from both teams of bot side, keep trying to push up. So a lot of safety to Untara by the player we saw from SKT.
Helps out a bit. Untara does get spotted out there, along with the wards. Kuzan just utilizing the plants there to try to clear out some of that vision. See that entire top side of the jungle lit up by the wards that have been thrown down by SKT just to try to ensure that Untara is safe. But you've got Songyun and Key in the mix. He's going to have to peel back away from this one.
Yes, it's kind of awkward for the side of ROX, even though they're moving with power. Like, it feels like there's artillery every time they rotate with specifically Songyun. They don't have the ward coverage. It almost feels like SKT is running in the wards everywhere on the map. They have a vision advantage in every quadrant, which should be impossible, just given the lack of vision in the 2018 meta. It's not Mata putting down 800 control wards like it was in 2014. So ROX really need to do more than just play around their Kalista. They need to also ward around their Kalista to allow them fallback objectives. Even Baron. I mean, Zac and Ornn sitting on Baron and Kalista free hitting for enough time. Baron's going to come down.
Yep. Oh, that was a bit awkward.
Oh, that was what we would call the hula hoop.
I'll just let that one exist.
We're leaving it a bit of space. You know, like when someone wins a world championship and you don't talk, I feel the same way about that play.
Whoops.
Indeed. That's the one where your teammates definitely don't need to say anything. If it's solo queue, people start pinging your flash. Question mark. And then pinging the flash cooldown.
Well, Key thought he saw something.
Oh, he did. He just missed.
Might have been hallucinating.
It also means that if he tries to walk up and put down wards, Mouseha will just kill him.
Yeah. That's true. No real way of him getting out of that one.
See where the items stack up right now. Is a bit of a lull in the gameplay. Abyssal Mask completed for Linderong. 2-item core. Probably going to be with the Kindle Gem in the inventory. Just be looking into a bit of more insurance for Songyun with his next piece of itemization. SKT just barreling up mid lane. Remember, they got this turret low earlier. Couldn't take it out as Songyun's
really aggressive there. Bang going forward with the arcane shift. It's come out a bit under as far as that trade is concerned, but showing no fear here with this Ezreal. Yeah, Mighty Bear where he can, just zoning them back. SKT will be able to pick up this Cloud Drake.
Try and look at what's happening on the map while SKT send multiple members to Drake. The answer's not much. They're still sticking control wards on top and bot side. The vision battle is really what SKT is outclassing ROX Tigers on. All you can see ROX doing is putting down wards for picks, but actually controlling their flanks is not happening. This is risky.
The Forge God. So they look for the fight there. The 1v1 down to the bottom lane in Tar, getting ready to transform. Throws out the boulder. Does he want to go for this one? It's going to be yes, but he whiffs the
He doesn't whiff it, Achilles. The W, the bellows breath.
You're right.
The ability to go through CC. Really nice outplay.
I thought he was just outside of the circle, but you're actually completely right.
That was really nice, actually, from Linderong. Not a mechanic we've seen happen too much in pro play.
Great misread by me. Kuzan now getting jumped on. Emperor's Divide going to get thrown down. Bank coming in, trying to slow him up. With that Iceborne Gauntlet, gets a couple hits in, but overall that's going to be about it. Fate's Call throws in. He's looking for the hook. He finds it there in onto Effort, drops the box. No one from SKT really going to be walking into that one. Seems like they're just going to go their separate ways after a bit of an extended skirmish here around the top side of the river.
Teleport cancelled from Linderong. Kind of weird there, but I guess this wants to hit the minion wave in bot side to be advantage available for Untara. Cooldown very, very short on the Ornn. That's kind of the crazy thing, as we always see Ornn having ult up. If you go ultimate hat, I think it's 36-second cooldown. Whenever you see 2-in-1 fight, you just wave your fist at the balance gods, being like, how is this a thing?
Always has ultimate. Doesn't have to go back to purchase anything. Can upgrade your items for you.
He's a jungler that
doesn't die.
He's a top laner that excels in if he can overstay in lanes, he doesn't have to back, and he can just get the fruit if he can push in. And he has 3 ranged farming abilities. That was some nice coordination from SKT.
A cheeky handoff.
You shouldn't have 3 ranged farming abilities if you're a tank. It's just not good. It's not good balance, but
Here we go again.
he's not the best at long lanes.
Oh, but this time there's backup. They're coming in, not going to have the W up this time to deny that ultimate, and Linderong will go down as Bang finds the kill. 2-3 there on the board for SKT, making something happen. Let's see where the priority is going to lie, because
Faker actually getting the Rift Herald there, might have been blank. I think it was Faker. It's really big, because they were just at least thinking, okay, Ornn's dead. Sorry, Scuttle, yes. I think Ornn's dead. Let's at least get Scuttle and set up for Baron. Not able to do that because the Scuttle is claimed by SKT. So it's not the best trade, Baron control for a single kill, but now it's an even worse trade because they can't even get Baron control after the Rift Scuttler goes the way of SKT.
That's right, it's turning into a long night. As it turns out, Faker, good for the Nether Grasp, does find it there in onto Key, but pretty tanky. As it turns out there with Fresh, will get chunked down a little bit. Now Undaro coming in from the backside, just sets up with a slow bang, goes forward, finds the kill now.
Bang's popping
Looking
off.
for Mighty Bear, Let's Bounce comes through, just pulls him to the side of the turret, where Mighty Bear is going to go down rather swiftly. Final hit comes through as Undaro finds that. 2 kills very swiftly picked up here for SK Telecom. Mid-tier 1 turret going down. Now looking for the second one as Blank starts poking in from the backside. Goes in, gets the knock up there onto Kuzan. Takes a little bit of damage. Forge God going to get bounced back, but everyone dodging it out. And a tier 2 turret goes over to SKT. 4-2 in that regard. Gold lead swung into their favor, and they have turned everything around for themselves.
That moment breaks open the game, but it also puts winds in the sail of SKT fans because Bang,
they're going right
Arcane
for it.
shifting aggressively, looking for kills. They need Bang with this lineup to be a true carry. That was a good start.
They don't have a lot of damage here to offer up onto this Baron. Linderong coming through very tanky, but they don't have a smite, so the chance of a steal is just pretty much non-existent. There you go, Blank able to take that one away. Baron to SKT, and suddenly ROX's hopes, where they were once looking rather good, they were playing out so well, now kind of getting shattered.
I think it was the vision control that really stopped them from getting any sort of lead with the kills and the insanely strong Kalista that they had in the early to mid game. And then SKT have been outstanding. They're a well-drilled team. They always have been. With Koma as their coach, they've always been so consistent with the macro side of games, barring a couple of patches here and there. But also having Bang show the killer instinct that was gone last year. That flame was not ignited. He really did struggle in summer especially. Seeing him go in, be aggressive, combined with the smart macro plays, makes any SKT fan smile, nod their head and say, I always knew he'd come back. I always knew he'd find form. He definitely deserved another chance. A lot of people called for the head of Bang after his struggles in the World Final and in summer. But form is temporary, class is permanent, has been an adage, much used. Bang deserved another go, and we'll see if he can emulate that sort of a move, and that can be a consistent trend of his play in 2018.
Nice turnaround, 2 minutes 20 on that Baron timer. We'll see how much SKT can get done with it. Already knocked down the tier 2 there in the mid lane. Top and bottom still remaining. At the moment, SKT just kind of scattered. Faker moving down to match the Azir. On that bottom side of the map with Blank kind of hovering in between here in this bottom side of the jungle.
And now even around the Kalista, with Merc, Scimitar, and just plenty of items, you're not sure if there's a team fight that ROX Tigers wins, even in a best case scenario. They're not going to get the best case unless we could see quite a call of the Forge God
right
here.
now, Bang jumping back and play comes through. Shot from the side, Effort has the Devour. Bounce not really going to drag him back. Effort still going low, Forge God coming back in for the knock-up, does find it. He's got the shield on, so Effort's still staying in the fight for the moment, but how much longer it's going to last seems like not very long. Linderong goes forward, finds that hit. Tara coming in from the side, does have the Meganar and the ultimate ready to go, but just can't get on top of the members of ROX to set up for the massive stun.
But it's a single kill, and it's not even a 5v5, it's a 5v4. Malzahar was pushing in the bot side. So a pick goes down, but they do get the turret. Things are still fine. The side of SKT. The problem for ROX is when they lost control of vision, all they could do is put down a control ward and then dogpile with, the knock-up from Kalista and also the Zac. They can only all in, and SKT says, fine, we're going to play the map around. You might get a single kill, but we're going to trade up even though you're getting picks left, right, and center.
Another Dragon there going over to SKT. Double Cloud for these guys, 40 seconds remaining there on the Baron. So it seems like maybe getting any additional turrets going to happen so much for them. As in knocking down that final inner turret there in the top lane. But not too shabby here for them with the gold lead that they've stretched, 5.3 thousand in their favor here. 32-minute mark.
They're in full control here, SKT. Been very impressed with the macro side of things. How could I ever not be? But it's been so clear, given we've had some teams struggle with the macro side. Just in the 3 series we've seen before. And I'm just ready for a team fight. It feels like, even though it's only 4 kill to 4 kill, 5,000 gold lead, but also the scenario that SKT find themselves in, the cleanup can't be far away from here. Nothing really to fight for, apart from the turrets here from an SKT perspective, with Baron dead, and Elder still quite far away, but there's not many safe places on the map for ROX, and there's not a lot of advanced vision either. A lot of darkness from the ROX Tigers.
Just getting set up there. Scuttle grab yet again, going over to SKT, just trying to maintain as much vision as they possibly can, even with the Baron not spawning for a considerable amount of time.
Effort walking up. Happily carried by his team so far this game. Hasn't necessarily played woefully bad, but, you know, kind of a couple of those moments where you could see that he just pushes a bit too far, his solo queue instinct's a bit too off.
Picking on the new kid at school.
It's an old strategy, but a good one.
A good one if you're a bully, Papa Smithy.
I mean,
we don't support bullies.
Bullies win a lot in League of Legends, let me tell you. If you bully someone in lane, you're doing a good thing. I know it sounds like we're like mixing up our verbs, but bullying someone in lane is a big thumbs up as an analyst for me.
Keep it in game and out of the chat.
The PSA coming out there from Achilles. SKT just kind of slowly moving forward. Their side lanes aren't in great position. You see top lane's been pushed out. Nara is going to start once again auto-attacking in bot side. Bang looking for a chunk on Kuzan, he doesn't find it. Look at that, Bang just Arcane shifts in, gets a burst.
Say that, but he does in the end, but now that's going to be the Nethergrass coming through here. Fate's Call will drag Key out to safety. Mighty Bear on the side, threatening that elastic slingshot, but doesn't need to go forward with it. SKT, I mean, they could just play this slowly, maintain their vision control, and just wait for that Baron to come back up.
Sounds like SKT. Definitely an expected result if we do see it. ROX Tigers kind of, you know, losing the minimum, but unfortunately the minimum for them is sometimes getting a Raptor camp. That's kind of the map control they're hoping to exert.
Yet again, Bang chunking up Kuzan.
It's a mindset change for Bang. I think the last time I saw Bang play like this, actually, Achilles, was way back in 2015 when EasyHoon was the mid laner.
Comes through, cleanses there, however. Keeps himself safe.
If you're watching in 2015 summer, whenever EasyHoon was the mid laner, we would see Bang play Vayne and tumble forward. He would be so much more aggressive, but when he had Faker, he knew his role was to be defensive in lane, and he would hang back because he just trusted in the process. So changing his mindset and being more aggressive here is really good to see, because with the 5 members he has now, he does need to be that sort of person with the killer impact.
The clean QSS that we saw from him there.
He's got a bit of gold as well.
He's a little bit shy of a Captain Jack, I will say, but it was pretty close.
Faker at 6 items at 35 minutes, of course. How could he not be?
Why not?
A lot of gold there, given that he already has his quest cashed in, of course, a 750 bonus on top of whatever Kuzan's put together.
I mean, both ADCs right now, they're neck and neck as far as their CS is concerned, and they are just leaps and bounds ahead of the standard mark. 35.5 minutes. Both of them at 419 CS.
But you hoped that Sungyun would have kind of a diversified carry portfolio, which is a very wordy way to say that Kuzan's in the lineup. It shouldn't be all about the Sungyun effect, but unfortunately in this game, Sungyun got all the gold, and then ROX didn't set up well around him, and then now we're kind of in this weird spot where Sungyun's fed, but it probably doesn't matter. That's kind of where we're at, is they probably still don't win a 5v5 fight because all the eggs in the Sungyun basket, they haven't been able to actually do anything around the map to justify the gold there.
So basically what you're saying is that nothing has really changed. They're still banking on Sungyun.
Not for game 1.
Winning force here.
Now, rushing down Baron is a possibility.
I mean, they do have the Ren stacks.
It's 50-50 time for ROX.
He's going to be coming through. It's going to be a bit late, and it's going to be the Kalista able to get the confirmation there onto that Baron. Who's on over the backside. Keeping himself alive. Just trying to retreat. Throws in the Sand Soldier into the pit and try to stay alive. But Bang is hot on his heels. One more hit would do it. Throws out the Embers of the Divide. Oh, but the Mystic Shot just barely shorted it. Bang unable to find that kill. SKT does take down Linderong, but it's 1 kill for a Baron. So ROX, who've been so, very far behind, they'll be quite happy with that exchange.
They pulled the big boat, do-si-do. They were so defensive for 35 minutes, and then they're like, all right, we're rushing the Baron. We'll lose if we don't get it, which was the right call.
Yeah.
So credit ROX Tigers. 50-50s aren't always correct, but when you're way behind in this sort of a game where you've been starved out of even vision for a long time, you take the 50-50 and you either lose right there or you have a chance to come back in. It's a good call by ROX Tigers. Gives them a little bit of life. The heart monitor is not completely flatlining just yet for ROX Tigers.
Yeah, now the question is, can they actually get into position to utilize this Baron buff? Let's see, Blanket Faker now waiting in the wings. 4 members of ROX Tigers nearby, so they got to be careful. Rest of the squad coming through. Looks like they are fully prepared for this one. That's going to be the flash forward. They can get that Nether Grasp down and onto Mighty Bear, trying to finish him off. Goes gold into the shot barrage, comes through. Now TP as LegendsRiot is ready to rejoin the fight. SKT, they want to keep pressing. Seems like the answer is going to be no. Just poking out where they can, but otherwise kiting back.
Draw the flash out of Faker there, which is, I guess, a pretty good, decent trade, really, all things considered. Mighty Bear can just pull out. I believe he has Warmogs, so he'll be able to regen very, very quickly. Yep, you can tell by his health bar.
Yeah, it's
so that's Warmogs right there.
That's skyrocketing at the moment.
85 HP a second. He has 400 HP per 5 if you were to press C on him and look at his character information. That's pretty cool.
Disgusting.
Such as Warmogs. Both of the junglers have it. Sejuani's special as well. Elder Dragon spawn, they have one of the buffs, and they want to try and force a real 5v5. They've been denied most of the game.
Be looking for it yet again. Do have the Ren stacks ready to go inside that Elder Dragon. SKT, they need to do something. It's on mute, forced to be hiding back there. And he get in range of the Elder Dragon. Looks like the fight's just going to take place outside the pit. Blank goes in, throws down the Cataclysm, has 3 members trapped inside, but the Emperor's Divide pushes him back. Oh, but the True Shot Barrage comes through from Bang, takes out Kuzan, and now SKT is on the hunt. Mighty Bear ready to get popped, flash forward into the tongue lash there from Effort, does slow up Key. He's going to go down, double kill, over to Bang, looking for Songyun, can he get the triple? No, it's going to be taken away by Effort, but SKT is running away with the fight, and now with the game, the ace ready to come through, a triple kill going over to Bang at the end, the knock up, the kill there for Blank as he finishes off the little blobs, and SKT started to fall behind. It was looking good for ROX after the Baron, but they turn it all around at the Elder Dragon.
There's definitely a reason for optimism. As Mighty Bear's like, hey, I get a lot of healing from my abilities. Sure, you want to fight this?
I don't need mana.
But Jarvan's job is just to stop Mighty Bear from backing. He's going to be able to back, so he is going to be able to use the Baron buff that I believe has a couple of seconds left on it. Probably not enough to stop the game from ending around him. Still 10 seconds for the Azir. SKT want to close it here.
He's going to leap in straight into the Nether Grasp, straight into the arms of death there. Not going to die, but SKT, they're actually not going to go for the finish.
I mean, Malzahar wasted his time on
the respawns were still just coming through.
Probably no way to end the game there safely, so definitely not a huge problem, but being able to back because of his damage was enough to delay the game. So we take another deep breath. The night will not end here, at least in terms of game 1. ROX Tigers versus SKT, but you saw that fight, right? ROX Tigers gave it its best shot, used all their CCs, tried to stack them. It didn't matter. Ezreal was just waiting for Emperor's Divide to go away, and then he started hunting with a triple kill.
Let's do it all over again. Here we go, everybody. Posturing up around this Elder Dragon.
Once more with feeling. Let's do it.
More jazz hands this time.
Oh, the Forge God sadly not been the huge initiation tool so far in this game. Reliability of the Ornn not being there for LegendsRiot after getting that early first blood onto Untara. Who are your carries? SKT is what people said when there was no Marin on the lineup, when they went with this lineup, and 7-0-8 is the scoreline of Faker and Bang. Bang reinvigorated in this game, and love to see it against higher opposition than ROX, but you have to mention that Songyun is the star of this team, so it is still relevant.
While SKT takes out the Elder Dragon, Songyun is just going to be relegated to clearing out that massive wave in the top lane. Stacking up even more gold here for himself. Still got 2,500 in the bank at the moment. So, a pretty good spot, but SKT charging down the bottom side, looking to get that next inhibitor. Shot Barrage comes out, not going to be clipping either of the carries here on the side of ROX.
Good wave clear from the Azir, so if they can't play in multiple lanes, ends up dragging out a little bit further.
Bang going aggressive, looking for LegendsRiot there.
I mean, zoning people around the back while they have Minion Wave being pushed in multiple areas. base defense, tower defense here. If that's the game we were playing, if this was iPhone, then ROX Tigers still be in a pretty good spot.
Vision being denied there over the wall by the control ward, so SKT can't really go for any sort of over-the-wall plays.
And the minion wave in top is very far away from crashing into the top lane turret. Nara is putting his attention to pushing a minion wave in bot, so it's going to actually be another stalemate for the side of SKT, at least for another few minutes.
Faker just going to rotate his way up there. Start clearing that out. Good things pushing in. Minute and 5 seconds left on the clock for the next Baron to spawn. And another long game here, Papa Smithy.
The Baron buff is kind of the equalizer for the Azir wave clear. Give that extra tankiness on the minion, stops Azir alone from out of combat range, just answering everything that SKT's throwing at him. So back early, which is what they did. Remember, they didn't back at 10 seconds on the Baron spawning, thinking like, okay, they haven't been there in a while, we'll still be fine. They back early, they push in Vision, they start the sweepers, start pushing up the side lane, start the Baron, and then best case scenario for ROX Tigers is some sort of an even fight. Worst case, the game just ends around them. So trying to play the map very smartly here is SKT.
Looks like they want to play around this top side, what with Baron coming up and that last inner turret sitting there. See if they can bait anybody from ROX Tigers into the jungle.
Pretty difficult to see, you'd have to say. Elder Dragon about to despawn, about 10 seconds more on that buff, as our new buff indicator shows us. So what the decision is here, they've kind of abandoned topside, it's not going to push, they just want to assassinate Kuzan.
There, Kuzan, he's going to get popped up, he is gone, Emperor's Divide, not going to do a damn thing to keep him alive. Now the True Shot Barrage coming through, just kind of going to tickle Key on his retreat out of there. In the meantime, Untara trying to deal with Linderong, proving to be a bit difficult, as he's just so dang tanky. But the Nethergrass comes through, he's going to get locked into place, and Bang is going to find another kill. SKT need to put ROX in the grave here for game 1 on this push. So Let's Bounce comes through, drags 2 of them along, but Bang says thanks for the ride. We'll go ahead and finish you off right here, right now. Double kill going over to him. He'll get that kill there. On to Key, knock down that final Nexus turret, and SKT in 44 minutes will take game number 1, considerably slower than a lot of people would have expected coming into this one against the ROX Tigers. They made it a bit difficult for them. They had some moments of brilliance where it looked like maybe ROX would be able to close it out, but SKT at the end of the day are able to get that victory. But like I said, it's just game 1.
But it's not the sort of game where you look at the game timer and say, okay, it's a win over a bottom team, but SKT still have things to work on. This was a great performance by SKT. They had to be methodical because of the high wave clear on the side of ROX and the fact that they could play around their very fed Callista in the early game. The very fast Baron that they took, the second Baron in the game, was the one thing that kind of slowed down SKT's onslaught, but you never saw SKT dropping this game as it went on. So still, very good performance from SKT and from Bang especially, looking to have the killer instinct that abandoned him, especially in summer of last year. Definitely not an embarrassing showing from ROX, but they tried a few things. Once the Vision went in deep, and the fact they couldn't put down Vision themselves, Zac was a non-factor for the majority of the game, and SKT did SKT things. Good performance by them, but of course, it's only game 1 of the season. They can still get better.
Yep. Well, 10:30 p.m. here right now in Korea as we finish up game 1. Still have at least one more on the way. Maybe we'll go the distance yet again, Papa Smithy, and not get out of here until 12:30. Who knows? But ROX Tigers bouncing back from that loss could be a bit difficult here for them. You know, they already said, we don't know how we're going to go. We just want to do as well as we can versus SKT. They had some moments of brilliance. Let's see if they can bring more in game number 2. Don't go anywhere, ladies and gentlemen. We'll be right back.